Mia, what you sipping on? What you sipping on tonight?
It's tea. I've been sober, actually, the past few months.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is lavender tea.
Okay, that's what's up.
I gotta prep my vocal for our session.
All right, that's what's up. I'm excited.
Too.
Well, I'm gonna throw the question right back at you, bro. What are you sipping on?
Believe it or not, water. I thought I had a beer. I thought I had a beer in the fridge. I did not, and so that is a miss on my part. I will atone for that miss in the future by having more beer in the fridge.
All right, I since I'm the only one, this is in honor of Non. It's his favorite.
Wow.
Tito's. I'm gonna do a shot for all three of us.
Please.
You got to dip some red vines in that to truly honor the.
Literally, I was so sad that I can't have Tito's and red vines with y'all.
We need to have a song called Tito's and Red Vines. I don't know what it's about, but we should do a song called Tito's and Red Vines for sure.
I'm down.
So I'm just gonna. This is obviously a celebration of the single, but more importantly, Mami, amazing. You were a South by Southwest artist.
Yeah.
Congrats on that. So well deserved. It was really exciting to see that happen from afar, like just on your posts and just see the footage that you posted. So just, I know I'm speaking for Non and I know like we're both so excited and just happy for you. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. You did your thing. Yeah.
Salute. Well deserved, well earned.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. Oh my God. I'm still recovering, honestly, from that. My body's like, oh God, Mia, please.
I hear that. Let's do this the right way. Our first guest ever for the podcast, and it's only right. Legendary Bay Area singer, songwriter, all around superstar, just fresh off of her amazing showcase performance, South by Southwest. Call Me Mami was a single we first did. Then now we have this week Ain't No Option. Definitely check it out. Gracing us with her presence is Mami Mia.
Wow, what an intro. That's so sweet. I didn't know I was the first guest, so that is like even like 8,000 times more special to me that I'm the first guest on your podcast. So thank you.
Yes.
So happy to be here with y'all.
Yes, and we are excited about it. We don't share our space with just anybody, so we talked about you being one of the first guests on, and I'm glad we were able to make it work. So thanks for joining us.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah, we appreciate you. The Bay Area sweetheart herself.
Yes. All right. So let's start with the most recent experience with South by Southwest. Like, could you tell us how you found out that you were chosen and what that experience was like? Let's kick it off there and hear what your journey was like for that.
Yeah, actually, so I was referred by someone. So the showcase that I was a part of was a super last minute add to their programming. And so I have been, kind of talking with someone out from the Bay. They have a YouTube show called So What Do You Do? And we've been talking for years. We've known each other for a little bit. I've done at least 3 or 4 projects for him. And so I guess he was working with some agents and they were looking for people to fill up those slots for that show because it was super last minute. I want to say like maybe a month or less before that event.
Okay.
So I didn't find out that I was going until maybe a week and a half before I had to leave Boston. So I think it was maybe March 3rd or 4th, somewhere around there. And I got the message and I was like, oh my God, I have to go. I was like, I have enough PTO. Like,
right.
I'm going to use it. I'm going to do it. Like, even though, I'm going through some struggles, like with my health and everything, I was like, no, like I'm going. I don't care. Like, we're going to make this happen. I don't know if I will ever have this chance again. So oh my God, I'm so happy I went. Like, I always knew that South by was super important and like it always seemed like something interesting that I would want to go to. And yeah, so I was like, okay, this is thrown in my face. You know how I take things, like things are presented to me and I say yes, like I ride with it for sure.
Right.
If it feels right to me, then I will absolutely continue on that path. So it felt right. I was like, all right, let's get it. I had no time to stress out, no time to, talk myself out of it. That same night I booked my flight. I was researching hotels, and I mean, I hadn't performed since August. So
Okay.
it was the last time I had performed. I hadn't even really practiced much because, I'm trying to get healthy. It was really eye-opening, I guess, to me. Like it showed me what I do want, and that there are no bounds at which like there are boundaries, I do have boundaries, but I'll do what it takes, for myself.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm really interested in is the actual night of the show when you got into your set. What was that like? Like, what was your favorite song to perform? What did the crowd react to the most? I know in all the clips you sent me or I saw, the DJ is like dancing. He's doing a little Millie rock in there. So I know the DJ was feeling it. So yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, I picked, let's see. So I did Call Me Mami, Ain't No Option, Angel.
Yeah.
I did Cold Shoulder, which is a song I have with Willis. And then the last one was Brand New. That was my single before our last drop.
Okay.
And so I picked a lot of my favorites,
Right.
Call Me Mami is a classic. That one is like so easy for me to get up on stage. Like, I wasn't nervous really, because I had that in my back pocket. Like, I feel like for me, the movements just live in my head. So, that one is my favorite. And also, Ain't No Option might be my new favorite to perform also. Those two.
Okay.
Oh, nice. All right.
Let's
we win. No, I'm just playing.
I mean, our energies just work, and I think that it shows in the performance.
Yeah, I think that my favorite part about both of those songs is that those beats were made with you being on them in mind, and it worked out. So for it to go from like the beat idea to presenting it to you doing your thing on it, and then it becoming a fan favorite or a crowd favorite is awesome. So
yeah, I mean, no, really though, because people will send me beats, they'll have me in mind, right? But nobody gets the vibe like you do, honestly. Like,
so
have it to a T. Like, it's so easy to perform and to write on your tracks. So, and like you said, like, they're fan favorites. Everyone loves Call Me Mami. My mom's been humming Ain't No Option, like, and yeah, that one I think a lot of people love as well. So I'm excited to see, which one people will like more between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. So it should be going out to radio on the 9th for everybody listening. That's going to be our first email blast. So I guess what we could talk about next is like Call Me Mami was after the Hard Drive Awards, right? Like it was the Fantastic Four session. It was like you, Willis, Trinket, Elusive, right?
Yeah.
All came through. And I was like, I got this one beat that I think is you, right? You kind of went in and did your thing. And then me and Ronnie like talking in the corner, like, yo, I think this is the hook, like you moved to the hook, right? And then you did your thing, and then you kind of took away the idea and finished it off. So I know I was excited because I felt like it was perfectly you, like it had space for like all your falsetto. Like I like when you do your thing in the falsetto. But how did you feel like we were in the studio for the first time together? What was that experience like for you?
Oh, I mean, I'm coming to see you again. So after that, I was like, damn, now I gotta go to like all these Nonseq sessions. Because we have so much fun and it's just so natural and easy. And yeah, that just made me excited to work. That first time we were in the studio together. Because we had worked online together, but getting to do that in person and then kind of feed off of each other, bounce ideas off of each other. Cause I'm always just in my room, just doing my thing.
Right.
So it's nice to hear from your guys' point of view, like, oh, like I didn't understand this line. What if you said it like this? Or, this would fit better here. And so like it really set, it set the bar high, and so it's awesome that we get to keep working together like this. And I know that every time we work together, it's going to be that same experience.
Right. Yeah. I love how it turned out. Like, I love everything about it. When you perform it, it's like you're so on point and the crowd is captivated, at least for all the videos I've seen, and I've showed videos of people like, yo, this is Mia performing Call Me Mine, and they all love it. So, I just love to see how that song comes to life, when you perform it, when people experience it for the first time, when it's in some of your content. So I love the life that it's taken on. So that's what's up.
Well, and real quick, just to respond to what you were saying, Mami, like in terms of the connection, right? I felt the same thing when I came in. I know that was I think in August last year. And, I like being a support, sort of complimentary support in session. So if people need melodies, then I'm happy to go in and do that. But I also love just seeing what other people come up with, and it, real funny story, not funny, but just like afterwards, now I was like, you were really quiet that like on the session, like, is everything okay? Like, I was like, I was just vibing with Mami. She had so many ideas. It wasn't my role that night to hop in and try and like, I was just rolling with what she did and then offering up stuff in a support role. Like, I didn't have to take, the primary melody writing, duties that night, which I love. I love both of those things. I like writing melodies, but I also like coming in with, chiming in with lyrics and little tweaks to melodies here and there. So I really enjoyed that. And I just enjoyed seeing you do your thing. And as a fellow melodist, I enjoyed hearing what you came up with and then trying to tweak that and work with that, as a group, as we were doing, to make it into something special, which we did. That was Ain't No Option that night. So I appreciate you.
I was so happy to finally get to meet you that day. And no, you helped me a lot, actually, like, especially with my voice, because I know that's an area of improvement for me. Like, I'm not fully in sync with my instrument, but I love having that help, and you kind of like set me straight and like, gave me some warm-ups and some tips, and like, you're just like, just relax, because I'm naturally just a very like high-strung, tense person, and I think that shows in my voice. So yeah, it's always appreciated to be in your energy, for sure. Not just for the vocal tips, but I'm similar to like in my role might not always be the same in every room or every group that I'm in. So I appreciate that, you're able to do the same thing.
Yeah, well, and I thank you for that. And it's also like I think we're always paying it forward too, right? Like, shout out to my voice teacher, Jan Shapiro. Like, whatever I said to you that night was said to me in a similar role when I was the young, sort of singer coming up. So like, whatever it is, I think that's what Nan and I also like try and do is we're always trying to pay it forward in a sense. It's not just about our music. It's about like vibing with people and serving you as producers and writers. So that I think that's what it's about. So,
and that's felt. Definitely felt.
So let's go into Ain't No Option a little bit, because like I could tell the way I saw it, and then you can kind of tell me what your experience was when you stepped in, and then when you heard the updated version with Deltron. So I was in Medellin for this festival, and I made the beat, and I immediately thought of tagging you and Deltron, because I was like, it seems like this is the type of beat where like Mia's gonna sound fire on it, but like somehow it would be cool if Deltron got on this too. And I know I tagged you, and then you like reposted it in your story, like, what do y'all think? And I just knew I had to have it ready when we finally got together in LA. And it was like, just give me one verse and a hook. That's all I need. I'm not greedy, just one verse and a hook. So from there, tell me how you felt about it and like what your, experience was with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I loved the beat when I first heard it, and I remember posting that story too. And you have a great memory, by the way, because I would not have like pulled that out of my brain. But yeah, so I posted a story and asked like, "Can you hear me on this?" And some people actually said no. And,
Really?
yeah, and I can kind of understand because some people, they might look at me or hear some of my old stuff and think, oh, she's much more soft, like she's not as like lit maybe
Yeah.
like because I don't know, I probably give more of a calm energy to some people, but I think the people who really know me well know that I'm actually like pretty high energy. So that beat was a great beat for like me moving forward and in the future. Like, old Mia, yeah, she would have totally been on the slow R&B Jhené Aiko wave, which everybody compares me to her. But in reality, I'm like, honestly, I'm not as calm and soft as Jhené. I'm kind of, sometimes I can be a bit of a mess, or like, I'm more loud with my energy. So Ain't No Option kind of gave me that space to be loud. To be both loud and soft, because in the first verse, I was kind of belting more, like, really getting into my voice, but then on the chorus I got to just float.
Yes. Comfortable
and soft with my voice. So it's cool that Ain't No Option is also a reflection of me. Like right. I think that I do have like a duality, like a very, very extreme duality of both soft and not.
Yeah.
So having a song that I get to present that and showcase that was perfect, and it came out amazing. Like I couldn't imagine having anyone else on a verse besides Deltron.
Yeah. I feel like the way you two approach tracks, the collaboration works. You know what I mean? Because you're kind of like, all right, what's the story? Like, what's the energy? Like, how do I communicate? Like, what are some clever lines? Like, what are some lines people are gonna hold on to? And I just had that collaboration, man. Like, yo, these two need to be on something. Like, it makes too much sense. So I'm glad it turned out. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I loved it. Everyone loves it.
That's what's up. So I heard people screaming when you were performing, especially like the hook, like during that drop, like, because I remember like once we had the hook down and Ronnie had it and everything, I was like, you know what? As much as I have all this music, what if we just did a drop and just let her vocals really breathe and like be dominant for the first half of the hook? And it seems like that made a lot of difference, and it's perfect for the performance too, because it's like you're expecting and all of a sudden it's like drop, and you just
your vision with that was, you nailed your vision with that for sure. Like, because that was a surprise to me when you sent me the final version, or like one of the first or like second demos. I was like, oh, he pulled back the chorus, like he pulled back the instrumental. This is fire. And I think I texted you that too. I was like, you dropped the chorus like that. So yeah, from a performance standpoint too, it was perfect. Like it gives me that space to just like pull people in softly and slowly.
Yeah. That is one thing that I love, and that's one thing that, like, as I start to like learn your voice and see you perform different songs, like I keep that in mind a lot more. And so yeah, that was something where I was like, all right, if I do it like this will really showcase her. And then, so obviously you're able to do some really cool things with the hook, and watching the clips from South by Southwest, like you got a really cool, dance routine or movement routine when that hook hits. So
the funny thing about that is, so as soon as I hopped off stage, one of the people in the crowd were like, "Oh my God, your choreography, you must have practiced that for months." Like, oh my God. Guess how many times I practiced that?
I'm going to go with 3, magic number.
Gary?
1.
Wow.
1. I mean, I practiced singing, but I didn't practice those movements until...
Right.
I'm a feeler,
That so that touches on something I wanted to ask you about. So if it's okay to shift gears a little bit.
Yeah.
When I see your reels and your clips that you post, you just seem really natural. What was early Mami Mia like as a kid? Like, were you just dancing in front of the mirror like Prince with a fake mic in your hand? Like, where does that come from?
I will say I grew up and I still am at heart very awkward, very clunky. Like dancing is not natural to me at all. So I would like kind of practice moving, in front of the mirror before, this is so embarrassing, before like school dances and stuff, because I was like, oh my God, I can't be out there looking like a buffoon. But I just wasn't much of a dancer. I listened to a lot more like alternative and rock music as a young person. So like, how do you move to that? You don't really move like how I move today, right? Like there's a big difference. But honestly, I think that for the longest time, ever since I was a kid, I was just really scared of myself and the power that I do have. Or like, right now I'm like, I believe I can do this, this, and that. But before, I'm like, oh my God, that's way too much. I could never do that. But I would always want to. Like I would always want to be up there performing, singing and dancing and everything. But I was just scared of my abilities there. So it wasn't until like college really that I got to finally accept that role. And I think for years, literally until college, midway through college, like I had rejected myself and the person who I am on the inside. Like I was trying to be somebody different. I mean, not that I was a fake person or anything. I just you know how I am right now, right?
Right.
I just wanted to be more tame, like I'm all over the place. But I think that that's what makes me be able to keep pushing forward and keep moving forward. So I'll say like now it does feel natural because I've put that in the practice, and I just kind of like how I make a melody, I feel it. And so with movements and with performing, I'm like, okay, well, I'll feel this. And if it doesn't feel right, we'll do something else. But I'm just not, like I said, I'm not a natural dancer. So it's really difficult for me to actually choreograph things. I can't stick to the plan all the time. So now how I attack performing is I'm like, okay, I have these 3 marks to hit. All I have to do is hit these 3 things. And then the rest just feel, vibe.
Right.
Because, if you see a performance, you can kind of tell sometimes like, oh, that's forced, or you can tell, somebody's forcing something.
Yeah.
Not even in performing, in like life, you can tell when things are forced. That's why I'm like, well, why am I going to force something? I'm just going to let it flow naturally. And that's how I'm able to show up online naturally. I'm like, well, there's no facade. If I'm feeling like this today, you're going to see that. If I'm feeling like that today, that's what you're going to see.
How did you think of that? How did you come up with that? I have these 3 marks. Like, that's a very academic, like I've taken performance classes, and that's something that actual performance teachers will teach you to, like, in terms of like thinking of a performance, like trying to dissect it in that way, like, okay, go there now, and then in the chorus, go there. Like, how did you think of that? Did you like just study that, or how did you come up with that?
Yeah, so I did take performance coaching, but I will say I didn't learn that in my performance coaching. So I think one way that I'm able to navigate all of music and all of this, being who I am with no former connections or no like strong background in the entertainment industry or anything, I'm a science person. Like I went to school for agriculture and environmental education. So I wanted to be an environmental science professor. That was what I wanted to do in college. And,
oh, wow.
So I know, super different, right?
So you think like a scientist, like you break things down in that way. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like
that's cool.
Naturally, I'm really creative, right? But I forced myself, well, not forced because I love science, but like I trained my brain to think more analytically, to break things up like that, to make it digestible for me and for other people. So, that's why when I'm showing up on socials or like planning for a show, like I do homework. Like I just think strategically. I'm like, what makes sense here? What makes sense? And I mean, you know, people will say there's science and then there's creativity, there's like math, left, right brain, but you can use your right brain to think creatively, to learn how to use it left brain. I mean, that's
right. That's so cool.
Communicate that, but like,
yeah,
I use my creativity to teach myself how to think more strategic.
Yeah, that's really inspiring. That is so cool. I feel like Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting, when he is in the bar and he tells the guy, he's like, you just dropped 60 grand on an education that you could have picked up in the library. A little bit feel like right now.
I love that movie.
Strong word.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were we going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, like, I think that's something that a lot of people don't know about me, that I can use my damn mind. Like that, this is the only way, right, that I've been able to come as far as I have, which not saying that I've accomplished like everything, right? But like I came from literally no knowledge, no anything.
Right.
I found a way to get here. And you know, not to say I'm like God or anything, but like not everyone can do that. Like not everyone can think outside of their own head. So that's another thing. Like in all my work, I think like myself, and I think like 2 or 3 other people. And so I'm like, is like it just helps me be subjective or objective with my work. Like, because of course we're gonna be biased and think like, oh my God, this is the dopest thing ever. But realistically, like to be great, you have to know like truly like what is actually great, and like what do you think is great, or like, you know, how can you make it better? So prove
right.
Be better is to think like someone who is better, or think outside the box, think outside of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's great advice, and that can be applied to a lot of things. So, appreciate you for sharing that. And speaking of that specifically, I want to shout you out on your content, because your content is so fire relative to, other artists on a similar journey to you. And I think you've said before that initially you weren't that into content, like you were apprehensive into. So could you talk a little bit about how you got good, and if there's any tips for people out there that might be shy about posting and anything like that?
Totally. So, okay, I always say this, but my mom and boyfriend are like, that's not true. I think that I'm naturally a really shy person, and like a little bit more, I wouldn't say introverted, because I do love being around people, but I'm not naturally the loudest person in the room. I prefer to kind of step in and like let people approach me. And in terms of social media, you kind of have to be the opposite, right? And for the longest time, I was like afraid of it. Like I'm literally like tensing up just thinking about it. I would get anxiety, like my heart start to palpate. I would be like, oh God, no, like so I'm literally sweating just thinking about it. No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not like gonna cry or have a breakdown or anything. But yeah, so I would be so upset, like a few years ago before I actually started being good. I'd be so upset that other people could show up for themselves and I couldn't. And so I kind of had to face the underlying factor of like, why am I not able to do this? Like, so I kind of, had to dig deep and think like, what is stopping me from doing this? And also, it's like, if you want to do music, this is what you have to do. This is absolutely what you have to do. If you don't want to do it, then stop doing music. Don't do anything. Just don't. So what I did was I forced myself to do it by I became a BeatStars campus marketing rep. So before I had you guys, I would look on BeatStars for beats, right? And I love the platform. They'd always have like weekly education things, music entrepreneur clubs. So I'd I'd go every week. I'd listen in. And then eventually I saw that they were hiring for a campus marketing rep. So I applied with the sole intention of getting better. Because if I can't do it for myself, then, I have to do it for someone else now. That put me into practice. It got me to be not as afraid of the camera, not as uncomfortable. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And then I got the title Queen of CMRs during the program. And it just gave me that boost of confidence. Like, oh, like actually I can do this. And actually I did it well. So I just apply that same practice to my content now. Like, some of it might be more educational. Some of it might be, performance clips. But really it's about showing up for yourself. At the end of the day, you can't just make all this. I mean, you can, but like, if you want to improve and get better, you can't just do all this work and then put it in a closet or like throw it in a bin or something.
Right.
You gotta share it, right? So yeah, just like whittling down that fear slowly. And then eventually I kept doing it, like rinse and repeat. After that program, I will admit, like I stopped posting, but I had that practice in my back pocket that I could then use when I was ready. So then I'd post like once a month and then once a week, then twice a week. And then now I'm like, oh God, like I need to post every day or else. But now at this point, it's more of a challenge. Like it's not even like I have to do this. It's like okay, like, did you check this box today? And it's no big deal. Like, I know life happens, but I just try to get at least 5 days in there.
Nice.
Where do you like, so like content was down here in terms of enjoying it, and now it seems like it's up here. Like, is it almost equal with music for you, or
yeah,
is it more of just a checkbox?
I don't hate it. You get to decide what you do. You make it fun or you make it not fun. So I choose to make it fun. And I think that's why it shows in my content. Like you can tell I'm not in pain, physically in pain by posting. And if I was, if I'm going through something really, really bad that day, I won't, right? Like, a lot of people think that I'm always positive, always happy. For the most part, comparatively, maybe, yes, I am. But I do have really bad days too. But now I'm at the point, I have this relationship with content that like, if I'm having a bad day, I can still post. And then just that interaction with my community and like my listeners and people who support me, that will bring me back up. And then it's not a bad day anymore.
Right. And one last thing on the content. Sorry, Nan, but real quick, because I want to, before I forget it. I've noticed in the last like few months or so, there's been a shift to this sort of story-based thing, like the one you just posted in the last day or so. Like, how did that, like where you went on the vacation with your mom and stuff, and you really refined that to like a really well done. Like, how did that style of storytelling like come about, and what was that a shift in your content to a degree, or was it just sort of an extension of stuff you were already doing?
Let's see. Well, last year I did this thing where I was doing like 52 weeks of artistry. So I didn't get all 52 weeks up, but I did do at least once a week for 3 months. So I would do like a vlog type thing, not really a vlog, but like I'd take clips of my week. And honestly, I would just put it over music. Like I wouldn't even do voiceovers or anything. But I found that people actually liked my voiceovers. And I think a lot of people do like my voice. So I had this idea. Maybe I should just lead with my voice. Maybe I should talk more. Because I think, in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, they know me. They know who I am. But you can't really completely know someone if you can't hear like the inflections of their voice. Like, like your voice tells a story too. And so that's why I started to kind of include my voice in these sort of like mini vlogs or storytelling.
Yeah.
But that's a new thing. There was nothing really intentional or formulaic about it other than like, I'm taking the videos, may as well put these to use.
Yeah.
And just lay some audio over it and
Yeah, they're really good. They're really good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad you guys like it.
Yeah, shout out to you. So since we're talking about all these aspects of artistry, I guess what I would ask you is what so far for you has been like the biggest challenge in your artist journey?
Oof. The biggest challenge. That's really difficult. Well, it's no longer content, so that's not my answer anymore. I would probably say you might want to put some Jeopardy music at this during probably like doing okay. So right now, I'll say this. Right now, I'm in a place where I'm trying to start shifting the balance between, financially earning money like from my job versus music.
Right.
So I think right now that is the biggest challenge. That's my biggest goal too. I'm kind of reluctant to say whether that's a big challenge because I also haven't really dipped my toes into it yet. Like I haven't really stepped into that fully. So maybe it'll be a lot easier than I expect. I don't know. But I think it is challenging to now step into the role more of an entrepreneur and like try to be lucrative with this stuff because like a lot of people, they sell their music on Even or all these or all these platforms where like fans can buy their music straight from them, which I don't think is a bad idea. But I also I know myself too as a listener, like as a consumer, like I'm not going to go on these other platforms to listen to music. Like I mean, first of all, I don't listen to much music at all. I like to make it more, right? But I listen on Spotify. Like that's where I prefer to listen. So like, how am I going to take that away from people who do consume like that?
Right.
So, I'm like, okay, well, if that's not an option, what now? Like, what do we do? But, trying to develop those systems and do it in a way that's not pushy because I never want to push people too. Like I gotta pay bills too. Like I totally understand. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much that needs to be done to build that foundation. Like one of my plans is to, start YouTube and hopefully, create just like a, what is that called? Passive income from YouTube. But that takes years. Like that's not going to take overnight. So that's a lot of work. But, with the challenge. So.
And don't forget merchandise. I always say merch. So am I gonna get a Call Me Mommy t-shirt at some point
Of course. Of course. I just got like a t-shirt press.
Nice.
I need to design it though. Like I need to because like Call Me Mommy, like I think I don't know like what format to like put that, because then I'm like if I give you a shirt that says Call Me Mommy, is the shirt demanding that people call you mommy? Right?
Yeah, is
So
I like the vote. The vote for mommy was fire though. When you did the vote for mommy, like vote for Pedro, like I would definitely want one of those for sure. I would walk around with that in public. For sure.
I can make those again. Definitely. I love that too. I still have my shirt. That was like one of the first shirts I made.
Yeah, that was a cool campaign. Like, I definitely would. I think there's some really cool things you could do with the Mia merchandise, especially because you got coffee references. You could do some mugs, like I like you a latte, like you said on Call Me Mommy and stuff like that.
They're in the works. I do have like designs and ideas, but I mean that's again like the biggest challenge is like there are 8 billion things that I want to do, but I'm one person. Like I want so badly to be so many different people. Like I wish that I could have 10 copies of me so I can order them to do like all my stuff for me. But I'm just one person. So that is my biggest challenge. Like, because I want to work. I want to work so much, but I'm limited by my physical body, right? So that's lots of
okay, building off of that, is there like a particular brand or whatever that you would like to do content collabs with? Like, I see different singers and different artists collab with different brands. Is there like a dream brand or like a brand that you're talking to? How's that going?
Well, I love Gayaki's yerba mate. So I'd love to partner with them. I'm actually an ambassador for them, but I don't
Right.
I don't know even how to get that in the works. But I'd love to partner with them. I love lip gloss, so any lip glosses would be any lip gloss brands would be super fun to work with. I don't make my own lip gloss, honestly. And let's see, like honestly, just my favorite stores. Like I would love for the brands that I love to love me back. Like
Right.
where do I shop? Like Adidas. I love Adidas things. I love athleisure. So they're also one of my dream collabs too.
All right. We got to make a short of this and tag all of those brands to see if we can make that happen.
Absolutely.
We'll do a remake. My Adidas. Get to it, Nan.
You know what? I might do a little something. Yeah. I said I was going back in this weekend, so we'll see what I can cook up for Mia. So let me ask this. Like we talked about the brands, we talked about the artistic journey. There's a lot of people who have been telling me when they hear records that we've done, how much they like your voice, and how like you're a vibe. Some people have said that when they see you perform or whatever. What do you look for when it comes to collaborating with people? Like if somebody is like, yo, Mia's dope, how do I approach or how could I either get a feature with her or get a guest verse on one of her songs? Like, what do you kind of look for? What are some of the key things?
Damn, that's a great question. So like I mentioned before, I'm a person who likes things to happen naturally. I mean, I do get people DMing me like, oh, let's collab, like, but I'm like, again, I'm literally one person and I have so many things to do. So I feel bad that I can't collab with as many people as I want to. One thing I will say is if you really want me on a track, I have services. Like you're more than welcome to book me. I will prioritize you if you book me for sure. But I mean, with us, like again, it just came naturally. So just
Right.
building that relationship and not building it intentionally just for that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that I won't do free features or like free collabs or anything like that. It's just like it happens when it happens.
Right.
I'm always, accepting beats and everything, but like I said, I'm one person, so I just don't have the time and bandwidth to hop on a feature or write a whole track unless I'm being paid for it. At this point, like if I could, I absolutely would, but at this point, I literally cannot.
Nah, I hear you on that. That's what's up. So we did have some one question that we didn't talk in depth. Like I saw a little bit of it when we were trading emails back and forth. But in terms of musical influences, who would you say are your top 3 or 4 that you want to shout out and how they maybe change your process?
Yeah, for sure. I love this question. So definitely Gwen Stefani is a big one. And I didn't realize how much influence she had over my style until probably within the past year or so. I was like, oh my God, I do some of the things that she does and I didn't even know. I made some of the stylistic choices that she does.
Okay. Totally. I could see that.
Right? I love her. I listened to her so much growing up. And so she was a big influence, and even style wise, I always loved her style too. She was always super cool. She's super feminine, but also
right. Yeah, not just musically, but your clothes. Yeah, totally.
Kind of edgy. She's feminine but edgy at the same time. So Gwen, also Alicia Keys for me. Early on, I remember this. I was 8 years old. I was reading a music magazine or a magazine. I don't know if it was a music one, but it was a magazine that had an article on her. And it talked about how she was 16 and she got offered a full scholarship to go to college, but she turned it down to do music. And that always stuck with me. And I always thought was like, wow, she went for it. Like she's smart and she's like musical. Like she's intelligent enough to get a full scholarship to college, and she's great at like writing and singing and everything like that. So you can be both, you know, and I'll never say that I'm upset I went to college. Like I love that I went to college, but I really admired her for making that decision because most people don't. So there's Alicia, and I'd probably say, oh God, I just had her. Haley Williams too. And I mentioned that I listened to a lot of alternative and like rock and like pop punk growing up. You'd probably laugh if you saw old pictures of me. That style, like her style of singing, is actually kind of where I train my voice like to be like that when I was initially starting like music and stuff, because like I would be in rock bands, like I would write that style of music. So actually R&B and all that, like it's not really natural to me. I'm used to kind of singing more like that. So it's always this constant fight, you know, because I had kind of trained my voice to be like that, and now I'm training my voice back to be what it is now. And just finding my natural voice too is something that I mean, I don't know if that journey will end. Like I feel like that's never
I think evolve.
Right.
Yeah, because I think you know, if you listen to old Beyonce records, like it's the same underlying tone, but her delivery, her rhythmic choices, all of that, like it's evolved so many times and obviously so many different genres. So yeah, I don't think that ever stops. I think it's just you enjoy the ride. But yeah.
Well, you're also
but I would say
I just wanted to give you a shout out just to connect it to what we're talking about now. You're unique in the sense that from what I'm gathering, that you lean into things that you're not comfortable with and then you master them, and you lean into your fear. And so like when Non asked you, oh, what's your biggest challenge? I thought that you might have said like, oh, well, just overcoming my self-doubt, my fear, because you had referenced that earlier. But actually now I'm seeing like, oh, that's not the big thing, because that's just your baseline is to just tackle that stuff. Like you said, well, I didn't really consider myself a dancer, but now I dance and I do it confidently, and that comes across. And then you're saying, well, I'm not really an R&B singer, but I started out as rock, but I just like, so you have this ability to kind of like be scientific about it, like you were saying, and then lean into the things that you're not. And so I just find that really, that's fascinating and inspiring, because most people would have said like, oh, my biggest challenge was my self-doubt. But you immediately like threw that away. We're like, you're on to the next thing. Like it seems like that kind of like, at least that just my interpretation of it, like you're wired in a slightly different way than most people.
Wow. I never realized that, but you are totally 1000% right. Like, again, like I went to school to do something that like I couldn't do naturally, right? And that's
right.
a piece of advice that I would tell myself like in my younger 20s or my late teens. Like, I need to do things that I'm afraid of. Like, I need to do things that I never thought I wanted to do so that I can determine like, is this something maybe I actually do like to do that? Like, I like to turn my weaknesses into my strengths. And I guess I've been doing that. I didn't even realize that I've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, Mami, I got news for you. Most people don't do that. That's different.
Because I love to be well-rounded and I love to learn. And like the only way you can really learn is by like diving in and doing it differently. Like doing it, like thinking yourself how you will tackle this issue, not looking up online, how do I tackle this issue? Like think, like use your brain. Like that's what it's there for you to figure it out.
Systematically, right? Like very systematically. Most people, I always have to throw in one sports metaphor. Most people, I'm a big hoops fan. Man's football guy. I'm a hoops fan. Most people do not take the coach's advice and work on their weekend. Most people like to do the thing that they're good at because that feels good. So respect.
Thank you. I mean, like, like you got to do, like, if you really want to be well-rounded and you really want to grow, you have to do both. Like you have to work actually harder at the things that you're worse at.
100%. Yeah.
with hooks too. Like I always thought hooks were like not exactly my strength, but you know, I'm working at it so that now it's like, oh wow, like people are actually humming this. It's stuck in their head. I'm brainwashing them through melody.
Yeah.
Working. Okay.
I have the power.
I remember when you came up with that "Ain't No Option" hook, and like we were driving around listening to it. I was like, I'm gonna call you Mami Mia from now on, because that hook was muddy. So that was a cool moment. Like that one, like "Call Me Mommy's" a fun hook. Like, yeah, you really have been bringing the hooks as of late. So shout out to you. We might have to get you on some hooks when we hit the studio this end of this, because I think Deltron's coming in the day after you come. So
get him to come the 27th.
I'll tell him. I'll tell him. I'll see if I can pressure him. We'll see what happens. But yeah, for sure. So Gary, I think you had a couple of desert island questions.
Well, she already talked about the artists that influenced. Yeah. So I mean, you might be a little young for this, but I'm going to ask anyway. And if you don't have any albums, the albums were these things that people used to do, and they used to put them out on CDs and before that tapes. So, but what are your top 3 desert island albums? If you were on a desert and you could only take 3 albums with you, are there any 3 albums that you would take with you?
Rocksteady by No Doubt, for sure.
Okay.
Ugh, I love that whole album. That's a great question, because it's been a while since I've listened to whole albums.
Yeah, what is that?
I know. So that one. Oh, this will be surprising. Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Bottom, top to bottom, I love that album too. And let's see what else is up there. I'm like, I don't want to choose another No Doubt one.
It's your list. It's up to you.
I'll do. I love things I can sing along to, so I'll also do Paramore's Riot.
Okay.
All right.
What's up?
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is okay, I have a few. I love gold, red, and pink are probably my top 3.
You said gold and red. You had to pick gold and red. You're from the Bay Area. You had to pick gold and red.
No.
49. All right. So speaking of pink, Mia, do we have a date yet on the "Call Me Mommy" video?
Yeah, so I have it ready. I can send it to you. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
No,
I haven't
have it. I'm saying, when is it gonna get released though? Like, because
Right.
the only reason I'm asking is there's like a couple of platforms I work with, and they're looking for content, and I could throw it to them, but I don't want to throw it to them before you have the official date. So
Okay. So this is a secret. So in May, I was planning to do something called Mommy Madness, where I let people choose which videos get dropped
okay.
throughout the month. But Call Me Mommy is so fire. Like, I feel like I'd have to save best for last. Executive decision. So
Okay.
I'd probably say May 30th or May 30th.
Okay. All right. That's what's up. I think when people see that video, they're gonna be blown away. You know, I've seen an advanced copy. It's fire. Mia's got really cool visuals. There's a lot of surprises in there. It's a really cool vibe. I'm not giving out any spoilers whatsoever, but it's a video that everybody should check for the minute it drops. I'll definitely be tweeting it, retweeting it, posting it, all of that. So
Thank you.
Oh, I don't think I've seen it yet. You got to send that to me now. I want to check it out.
Please send it to
I'm allowed to? Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
All right. So this is the rapid fire round, because we're about to. This has been great. First of all, but I gotta ask. I'm Samoan. I grew up on the islands. Filipinos. I feel like they're my second, first cousins. What does your Filipino heritage mean to you, and what did that mean for you growing up in the States as a Filipino American? Culturally, spiritually, just the whole thing. Like, what how does that play a role in your life, as Mami Mia?
Yeah. Okay. So I am second gen. So my mom was born here. My dad was born there in the Philippines, but like he lived out here for like most of his life. So I'm very Americanized, and I kind of hate that. I hate that I'm not 100% like tapped into my culture. But I do think that it's amazing that I have a space and an opportunity to like grow that and like get more influence, you know? And I think that there are some underlying things, like characteristics that I have that do come from my culture, that I just maybe never connected. Like I do consider myself like a super caring and warm person. And also very fiery, very hot-headed. Like I know that that's how a lot of Filipinos are too. Like they love really hard, they go really hard for their people. And I'm the same exact way. So there's that. I love to eat. I love to feed people. I love to make people feel warm and loved. And I think, that's just an Islander thing in general.
Totally. Yeah.
And again,
Island girl slug.
Sorry, what was that?
I said island
girl slug. Yeah.
Right. Island girls. We do it better. But yeah, like I think, I love to sing, I love to perform, and that's something that Filipinos also love to do. So I mean, I guess it's just like inherently in my blood, but
right.
I was more connected in the traditional sense. But
totally.
My mom wasn't raised like traditionally. I certainly wasn't. So that's something that I definitely want to improve on and connect more with my culture for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but it comes out. Like when I met you, I wouldn't have known that you were second gen, from the way that you're talking about yourself. So, I grew up with a group of Filipino people. Like I just reconnected with one of my boys from high school that we were on the basketball team together. I didn't realize he was living in Philadelphia. So yeah, I definitely, those are my people. And I was just curious about that, how you felt about that. Who wins in a bar fight? In a karaoke bar fight, or as they say in the Japanese versus the Filipino. I got to go with my Filipinos.
Yeah, totally.
Even though I think karaoke technically comes from Japan. I'm sorry. All due respect to the Japanese, the Filipinos have overtaken you. That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm biased, but like, come on. Like, there's just so much soul and passion and heart whenever you see a Filipino on karaoke.
Yeah.
If they don't sing that well, they still sing like with their whole heart and
totally.
Life and like that's what makes karaoke.
100%. Yeah.
Just one thing that I just wanted to weigh in on, which was I think cool for us as a group. Like Trinket kind of brought us into like the Filipino music scene.
Shout out to Trinket.
And we got on a couple of New Music Fridays and Pop Rising over in the Philippines. Shout out to Spotify there. And so we just started to learn a lot more about the Filipino fans and the fan base in the market, just through working with Trinket in association through her. So shout out to Trinket. Shout out to all of our Filipino fans out there. Y'all definitely changed the burntships profile for real, and appreciate you.
Do you make a mean lumpia or pancit?
Oh my God, that's so funny. My mom, so I went vegan recently just for health reasons. My mom asked me to make pancit, so I did. For the first time, I made a vegan pancit, and I was like, this is not going to be right at all. But I made it, and she was like, this actually tastes like pancit, like you did it. Oh my God, Auntie would be so proud of you. And I was like,
nice.
Okay, like sure. So I guess I can make a good pancit. And
all right.
Lumpia, yeah, I think I could do that. It just takes a little bit of time, but I think
Any yellow rice or no?
You said yellow rice?
Yeah, any yellow rice or no?
I don't have yellow rice. Oh, like the garlic rice? I make mine so mine's not yellow, but my fried rice is another level. My garlic
all right.
rice, that is I'm like trained in garlic fried rice.
Nice. Okay.
Mastered that.
My buddy that you met, the DJ Petrix, like he always used to have me come over, like if it was a big fight or they're having a barbecue, and so I'd get like the lumpia, the pancit, and the yellow rice, the garlic rice, and so he would keep me covered anytime I was in. Like, come through, man. I'd bring some beer, and he had all the Filipino food lined up. So
fire.
Yeah. I took my wife to a Filipino fast food restaurant in Carson, California. Filipino Central. Shout out to Carson. And I used to live in Carson. And I didn't realize that my wife is more of a healthy eater, and like, plus she doesn't eat pork. So I took her to like the opposite place that she would like. But I was so psyched. I was like, hey man, this is great food. It's Filipino food. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be awesome. Chicken adobo, you can't go wrong. It was only till after we started dating I realized like, oh, she likes salads. Oh, and she doesn't eat pork. Oh,
so good. The pork.
Anyhow,
you guys are making
okay. One last Filipino food debate here. Where do we stand on Jollibee? Thumbs up or thumbs up? You heard Benny Blanco was out there disrespecting Jollibee, raised a lot of controversy. Where do y'all stand with Jollibee? Are y'all fans or no?
I like the chicken. I love fried chicken. Oh my God. Ooh, I'm thinking about it. I like that they have a spicy one. I love the spicy one.
Yeah.
So in terms of chicken, I feel like they're up there.
I have thoughts about. Thank you for bringing this up. I would have to talk about this. It just depends. Every location is different, even though it's a franchise. And then my second point is representation matters. It matters that there is a Filipino fast food restaurant, right? So it's like you've reached a certain level. So whether each one individually, you can evaluate it. But yeah, I'm with you. Like you can't, it's like going like there's a place and a time for McDonald's. There's a place and a time for Jollibee. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not going to be a fast food snob.
Right.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Anything else for rapid fire, Gary?
What's your favorite food? Do you have a favorite cuisine? Doesn't have to be Filipino. Do you have a favorite Chinese, Indian, Mexican, American?
Korean and Brazilian.
Oh, snap. Yeah, Brazilian is good. Yeah. Brazilian barbecue. Woo!
We would get that way too much. Like way too much. It's so good. The breads, oh my God, this is like a little, this is funny. I would actually like bring bags to bring the bread home. Like that's how it was.
Nice.
It's so serious.
Yeah, that Brazilian bread slaps. It does.
Yeah. What's the name of that chain? The Brazilian barbecue place?
Fogo de Chao?
Yeah, Fogo de Chao. Speaking of chains.
I'm going to Brazil next month. If I can bring cheese bread back, I will, Mia. I'll keep you posted.
Really? Can you?
Wait, how come Mia gets the bread? The hell, man?
What's up?
Well, how come you get out? What about me?
Because I feel like if Brazil has a reputation, Gary. Just don't mention Brazil around the family. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
there's families in Brazil. I don't know what that's about. I'm talking about the cheese bread.
I hear you.
No. You know what? If anybody, I don't need any extra cheese bread. So you're 100% right. Mami, listen, I really appreciate you, your spirit. You're inspiring me with your music and everything we've talked about tonight. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, from our hearts. And if you have any other thing you want to shout out to the world or to your fans, upcoming things, please take this time. But yeah, anything else?
Yeah, and shout out your socials. Let everybody know where to find you, where they can join the Mia Music Club and all of that.
Yeah, for sure. So thank y'all. First, before I say my socials, thank y'all. You know I have so much love for the both of you. It's always amazing to share space and talk, chop it up, and work. When we work, it's not even work. It's fun. It's flow. So thanks for just providing such an energetic and a fun environment and a space for me to create all these great hits with you guys. But yeah, so we got lots of music on the way, of course, and we're about to have more. But just expect a song a month from me, at least one. But yeah, so my Instagram, you can find me on there most often, is at aka.mami.mia. So that's aka Mami Mia. And same as my TikTok, all my socials are aka.mami.mia or aka_Mami_Mia. And my website is mamimmusic.com. And there you can sign up for my emailing list, which I don't spam people for sure. You just scroll down to the bottom and then sign up, and you'll be part of my Mami Club. That's what we're called. And yeah, so if you want to stay tapped in, definitely hit me up on any of those socials. You know, I'll respond basically. Don't be shy. I don't bite sometimes.
Sure. Only when they're in.
Right.
And I will add in all of those your socials on post, in post, as they say on the screen, so it'll be easy for people to see. But yeah, thank you so much, Mami. We appreciate you. Nan, brother, as always, appreciate you as well, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Mia once again. Congratulations on South by Southwest. Congratulations on the new single. Everybody stream Ain't No Option. We got the animated lyric video on YouTube. Burntships featuring Mami Mia and Deltron Blac. It's also on all your favorite streaming platforms. So definitely check that out. Mia's on it. She killed it. She set it off just perfectly. And everybody enjoy.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. Take care, y'all. Have a
good night.